So I am Patrick Smith again here at the West Virginia Game Developer Expo 2018, and I'm here with Amanda Hudgins, who is an artist as well as a video game developer. How are you today?
I'm doing all right.
So tell us a little bit about your art installation piece you have here.
So this is Sententable, which is a 100-button fight stick for a custom 2D fighter. It was designed as part of something I call the 1,000-button project, which is I'm basically going to build 10 of these and make a video game for them.
Okay.
But it's a custom 2D fighter hooked up to a fight stick. So Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, those kind of games.
Sure.
And then every button randomizes every round. So it controls visual effects, audio effects, attack moves, etc.
So it truly becomes a button masher because you don't know what the button's going to do in the next second.
Yeah, it is 100% a button masher.
Okay. So tell me, how did you decide to get into the game industry?
Okay, yeah, so I actually, my first degree is in English literature.
Okay.
And then I found out that it was very difficult to make a living selling shoes, because that's what ended up happening with the degree in English literature.
Sure.
Was I couldn't find another job. So I didn't want to do that, so I went back to school. I got a second degree in what's called Media Arts and Studies, which is University of Kentucky's very fancy way of saying telecom. So I have a telecom degree. And I had been involved with sort of hobbyist video game development for a while, and with the company I work for, Supersoul, and they were looking for an intern one day, and so I told them that I was their intern. And that's basically how I got started. I was doing marketing, social media, stuff like that, and then slowly moving into like game design.
I would have to think that even though the first English literature degree probably didn't sell you a lot of ways, in game design,
it's not unhelpful.
yeah, story is king a lot of times.
Yeah.
You got to have substance, and so I'd imagine that helped give you a leg up.
It's definitely helpful. I usually joke that before this, I make narrative games about oppression, because that's basically what I do.
Yeah.
So most of my other work by myself is like heavy narrative games, 30-minute experiences where you just feel bad at the end.
Sure.
And so I wanted to make a game that people wanted to touch and wanted to play with, because I've been showcasing narrative heavy games for a while. But that was very much a use of my actual degree.
Right.
My first degree.
Okay. So yeah, this I find as a game developer, this definitely pushes even further into the art side. Have you done other installations previously that kind of showcase video games?
Yes, I have. Every year I help curate, and I also participate in an art show in Lexington, Kentucky called Rules and Play, which is all installation art pieces and things like that. And I've constructed multiple pieces for that. My first one was a giant bed that you laid in, and when you touched a bunch of strips of like hanging flagging tape. Flagging tape's the stuff that they use in the woods to like mark off trees.
Uh-huh.
And it's that sort of thin, kind of opaque tape. And when you would touch them, there were a bunch of LEDs above them, and they would change colors. And so you could like bat at it like a cat. I'm not describing it beautifully, but it was a really chill, casual experience.
Yeah.
It's probably closer to like a game in like the loosest sense. Mm-hmm. But then I've also made a Hollywood hacking simulator called These Violent Delights with a friend of mine, R25th. And that's more like a button masher, but with keyboards, kind of.
Right.
So each person gets like 4 keyboards, and they have to hack or counter hack each other.
So you end up having kind of an unconventional path into game development.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for people out there who are trying to maybe get into game development? Maybe they're doing it as a hobby. Maybe they are going to school for it. What suggestions would you have for them?
My biggest thing is that people just have to actually get started. Like I see a lot of kids like graduating with degrees, or even who will like come in and be like, I want to make games. And it's like, cool, what have you made? And their answer is always, well, I haven't made anything yet. There are so many free tools out there. Like, if you want to be a narrative designer, like Twine exists. You can make a Twine game without a programmer at all. And there's so many assets and projects, and there's so much out there that to go to any sort of professional setting and say, like, I don't have a finished product yet is not great. And also, like, it helps you refine what you want to be. Like, for a while I thought I really wanted to design UI. And then I did it a few times, and I was like, this is awful, and I hate everything about this. But I only found that out by actually making that on my own
Sure.
and trying it out a few times and then looking at it and going, no, wait, this is not my jam.
You've got to do it to find out if you like it or not.
And the best way to do it is actually just to get started. Like, that sounds really trite advice, but it's something that weirdly not enough people do, so I guess people aren't hearing it.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks for talking with us, Amanda.
Thank you for talking to me.